Morning, everybody. So, Matthew, it's been a while since we were together.
It has been a little bit, Teepa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been with other people, but not with you.
you have, which that's great. That's awesome. I'm
I
sure,
know, been
it's nice
out.
to be with other people.
Well, it was that, it was out good doing stuff. It was all good.
It
And
was.
so today I'll be with people. We have our cafe this morning and have a visitor. Teresa's coming. And we're also having our first, in a while, official Snow Foundation board meeting. So we'll be doing that early this afternoon.
Oh, cool.
Um, and we'll be trying to get some video shot of using the Tovertoffel so that we can do a piece for Tovertoffel. They asked us for some support and letting people know about that. So we'll be doing that as well. And then we have, well, you know how it goes. It's Friday.
It's Friday. It is
It's Friday.
Friday, that's for
It's
sure.
Friday.
Yeah.
So today I wanted to sort of get toward the end, but we have tomorrow. So tomorrow will be sort of my last day of the week. I want to talk about another form of FTD, frontal temporal dementia, and that's that young onset kind of thing for many people. And this one has to do with language. This is your temporal lobe phenomena. I mean, it does have some frontal lobe components. I'm not saying it doesn't. It has some parietal lobe components. I'm not saying it doesn't. But the primary lobe of dysfunction, of challenge, of change is your left temporal lobe and sometimes the right as well. But the left tends to be more involved than the right in most of the PPAs.
Mm,
Okay, now PPA we use to mean positive physical approach, but not this time.
no.
Because what we do know is that your positive physical approach will allow you to assess
Mm,
for PPA. And that's really kind of cool because we do recognize that using our approach as an assessment makes a difference when we're working with somebody who might have some language shifts, some language ability changes. And we want to figure that out early in an interaction, not later in an interaction. But we also want people to succeed in the interaction.
mm,
So we do a lot of things that are supportive. So primary progressive aphasia. They have identified, for people who are really into this, they have identified there are three variations, three forms that you might develop. In all of them, there's a shift, a major shift in how you take in verbal data and how potentially you produce verbal data. But in one of them, it's also written data. So whether it's written and you see the letters and you think the word, or it's spoken, the word is spoken. That form of primary progressive aphasia, both of those skills are lost fairly early in the condition. So the first one that I'll mention is called somatic. Somatic means words. Somatic variant, primary progressive aphasia. So in this one, the person has trouble taking in words. So single words, like, so I look at this thing on the paper or I listen to you say something and I don't know what that word means anymore. I mean, I used to and I can't think of it. Now, the good news is if you show me the object, I recognize the object, I know how to use the object early in this. I'm not having trouble with that. What I'm having trouble with is understanding words. Words no longer have the meaning they used to me. So, Matthew, we're out in the, oh, let's say we're out shopping, and I'm looking at where I should go to get something to eat. Now, where might I have trouble and where might I not have trouble? Because sometimes there's visual cues that help me.
yeah.
So deciding whether I want to eat at Subway or whether I want to eat at Burger King or whether I want to eat at a restaurant that I'm familiar with, would I still be able to do that?
Yeah, so if you're just seeing the word itself, or if I'm just trying to give you the options, well, Teepa, do you want to eat at Subway or do you want to eat at Mr. Good Sense?
Do I want to eat somewhere?
Well, yeah, Subway or Good Sense.
Um, Wherever you want to eat will be fine.
Oh, well, you said you wanted a sandwich. I wanted to make sure you were getting what
Right.
you wanted.
A what?
Well, a sandwich. Didn't you say you wanted a sandwich?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so what's so what's every time you give me a word, a noun, particular nouns are a little bit harder in general because that's you have to think of what is that thing, a person, place, or thing. So nouns are person, places, or things. Doing things often has emotion attached to it, and that's a little less eating I might get. But where are we eating? Now, if you take me over to the food court, what will I be able to do without any problem, Matthew?
Yeah, so once we get over to the food court, you would be able to see, and I was actually trying to pull up because you could
There
see a
you go.
picture.
Yeah. Oh, not that one, the other one.
Oh,
That's not the one
yeah.
right. So we can communicate if you start using visual cueing that isn't just words. Now, what does that mean about menus then?
We're gonna have to figure out something different. Luckily, some menus do have pictures. Some do, but I may have to be ready to pull up some pictures
Okay.
of the different sandwiches potentially to find out.
And when you find ones that I really like, you might actually want to put those on your phone so that you
Yeah.
can remember what do I like and show
Keep
me
those
what
in
I
your
like.
tabs. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not like I can't use words. It's just that they get tricky for me. And
No.
you never know whether I can or I can't. If I see something,
Oh.
and like you saw it and you immediately did in response. So, Matthew, that's an eraser
Oh, yeah, that's what I was needing for
for
the
so I have, come with me because we're going to go over here and use it.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm not saying you wouldn't want to use words. I'm just saying you can't only use words. Okay. So that's the semantic variation. And we could count on somebody becoming less and less able to put sentences together because they can't put the words together. So people may actually stop talking relatively early, but appreciating they may also start having real difficulty on knowing what you're talking about if you don't start using visual cues to do that. Okay, so the second variation is called logopenic
Logopene.
variant. Logopenic variant. In this one, I have trouble hearing the words one after the other and holding on to the meaning of the sentence.
Oh,
So in this one, it's not so much I can't get a word, it's when you give me a batch of words, I can't get the meaning of the intent of those words. And the longer the sentence or the more involved the sentence, the less I can do it. So you might see me trying to come up with the thing I want to say, the in a string, not a string, in a shoot. Where you put them all together. There's several of it.
several of them that you put
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
And so you have it all, and at the end is one last one. So it all comes to the point.
Yeah, it comes to the point at the end.
Yeah.
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 Tipa, is it the sentence or something else?
Yeah, the
Oh,
sentence
Oh, okay.
and the thing at the end.
The period or something else
No, the before that one, the last thing you
before the last
say.
period. Hmm.
Yeah, so it gets challenging because we're playing hit and miss. And some of the challenges, do I actually know the exact word or am I working for the word? And I may not even recognize it if you give me the word. And so I'm also sometimes in this one, I'm starting to have more trouble even repeating the phrase or the sentence that you give me. I can't copy you as well. So when you're noticing that, that would be a really important time to really acknowledge, wow, we're going to have to move to more. Hey, Matthew, you want some coffee or ready? Come on,
Well,
let's go see.
that would be
Well, come on, let's go
okay.
find out. So we're going to have to go do things a lot more rather than trying to use language to talk about what we're going to do. We're going to be, I want to show you something. Come here. I want to show you.
Oh, we're gonna
And
look.
you may go, what's wrong with your eye?
Are you
My eye? Because it's, again, this is making our interactions higher risk for making mistakes and having more challenges. So the third variation of this primary progressive aphasia is non-fluent agrammatic variant of primary progressive aphasia.
Could they make
So
these easier to remember, Teepa?
no, because it has to do with speech and
It's all
language.
about
And so it's very complicated. It's very Latin. So non-fluent means I'm not very fluent and I'm not got the right grammatic phrasing. However, this is actually this may or may not be, I mean, it says it's non-fluent, but in fact, I'm missing grammar. So the dog in the in the in the table.
the dog in the table.
The dog was in the table.
The
Can you
dog.
believe
Oh,
that?
oh, the dog was in that table.
Yeah. So what
Oh,
do you think the word is I really wanted to use?
the dog was under the table.
Or
Yeah,
on the table
on
or
the table.
something.
Got up on the table.
Anyway, I mean, the problem is what I'm saying is like, I don't quite get what you're saying.
Not
It's like,
coming
yep,
together.
yep. And I'm having trouble understanding you and grammar, quote unquote, verb tense, um, no ifs, ands, or buts, those kind of things I have trouble. I may also have apraxia, which is the inability to, to get the fixed, not fixed, fort, not fort. It's like that. So I have trouble coming up with what the word is. So in these cases, we could start off with thinking about, okay, let's get speech therapy involved. Let's look up some alternative ways of connecting. Maybe have OT involved. We may need some rehab folks sort of helping us out to sort of sort through. But the tricky part is to remember it's progressive.
Yeah.
And so we may want to look ahead a little bit and start looking at pictorial information rather than immediately still trying hard to use labels on windows and doors and things, the naming of things. And instead, we may want to start getting used to using visual cards and visual info to help me communicate what I like, what I want. You start using it back. So we start getting better at communicating visually.
Yeah,
And
I've
we
seen some really cool vision boards or visual boards or iPads. So when iPads really started to come into places where there are apps that have not only the picture and the word, but when you push it, it'll say it out loud.
Yeah.
It'll actually play
So
it
it
for
gives
the person.
voice to what I want to say, but I say I do the picture and then it pops up. So I hit the coffee cup and it could say, Teepa would like a cup of coffee, 1 cream, please. So I don't have to do all the heavy lifting of trying to let you know what my needs are. Now, people say, well, but then she's not rehearsing. And it's like, there's a difference between rehearsing and not getting your needs met. So I think this is where it gets tricky with primary progressive aphasia. Yeah, we want to do rehab to a certain point, and then we want to do compensation to another point, and then we want to look for maintenance, and then we want to accept, wow, we're trying to seek comfort here. And typically, what we need to do is get everybody else on the same page. How do you do this in a way? And how does our tone of voice come across? And how do we communicate? And how do we know whether our messages are coming in and their messages are coming in? So there's a lot that can be done once we recognize what's going on. And what I would say is aphasia isn't just going to happen with primary progressive aphasia. With that particular phenomena, it's your primary symptom. And for many years, that may be the only symptom somebody has in their dementia primarily. I mean, that's the primary one. But in other cases, it becomes a secondary symptom to the major thing. I can't hold on to data, but I can't tell you about the thing what it was. I don't, so I can't remember the word. Even if I could find it, I don't know, I can't hold on to it. It's just a little, I mean, those are different phenomena, but they all get in the mix.
Yeah.
So we'll pause there because if you're living with that and you're really wondering what to do, we do have some members of our community that are also living with it. If you haven't found the AID FTD website yet, and Mayo Clinic has a decent website, and people have their own blogs and their own posts, people who are living with primary progressive aphasia, because early on, people still want to make a difference and do that with using words, even though they're challenging. Um, that's really similar but different for people who've had a stroke and have lost words and maybe trying to regain their language. But some people are not going to be able to do that. People with cerebral palsy, people with other kind of developmental issues that have always been challenged, the idea that we would get better at communicating makes sense. Now, for some groups for whom language has always been challenging, like people who are hard of hearing or deaf, they develop a language that has to do with symbols and hand movements and gestures. And so sometimes those are things that we might look at for guidance, because what they work on is keeping all their signs and signals within this range, which would be helpful as people are starting to develop dementia and their field of awareness might be getting smaller. All told, this is not a dementia anybody would wish on their worst enemy. And it is a really challenging one. So people living with primary progressive aphasia often also live with anxiety and or depression, because it's super hard to exist in the world when you have trouble getting your messages in and out. And the world gets super complicated. Yeah.
So, Teepa, you mentioned about getting an opportunity to hear from some of the folks, our core team members who have been so gracious as to share their stories with us and their experiences. So I just dropped a link in the chat to our Courageous Conversation page where we have a lot of those recordings stored, and we'll have more that we will add on there that you can go and check out, and you can hear some of their experiences, the things that they have brought for us to be able to be aware of that have been helpful for them and the challenges that they have faced over time.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you're living with FTD, primary progressive aphasia, and you'd like to do a courageous conversation, let us know, because I mean, or if you have worked with people who have primary progressive aphasia and they have one of these variations of primary progressive, let us know. I mean, because we're always wanting to allow that space, hold that space, support that space so people can share their story and share their message. So, till next time, take care with your care. And if you need any support out there, let us know. Take care. See you later. Bye bye.
Thanks, Deepa. Bye, everybody.